We had a wonderful last night event at Ladera Restaurant, and Graeme spoke to the audience really well, and we talked about the Rosie project, going from 2013 to now with the Rosie Effect, the third book in the series, and Graeme is now a household name. In that space of 5 years, it must have been a wild ride for you. What's the best piece of advice for someone embarking on a similar journey?
If you want to be a writer, then I would say, okay, if you're a mature age person, a lot of them are going on to be a writer, you've got this big advantage because you've probably had a previous career. And if you have, I would say, think about what it took you to become expert in what you used to do, or what you're going to continue doing, because you probably need to pay for that, your life while you try to write. And just think, it's going to take me that long to be a writer, maybe even more. It's not something you can just do casually on the side, it's an actual profession, and it takes that amount of work. So that's what I'd be saying to someone who's come from a previous profession to someone who's embarking on it, perhaps as a student or a new graduate or whatever. I would say, look at your friends who want to be neurosurgeons or lawyers or whatever, look at how hard they're working. Why would you work any less hard? And I just think there's this attitude that writing is just something that comes from the heart. We can all write, we'll just start writing the book. No, it's a craft, a profession, and you need to learn the skills.
And you don't wait for the muse.
You don't wait for the muse. You sit down and you work. If you put time aside for working, if you can't feel you can write today, then plan. If you can't plan, then research. If you can't research, maybe you can edit. Even start another sort of writing project, but you don't say, oh, no muse, off to the pub.
Terrific. You explained your writing process last night using the screenwriter's card system, and you obviously enjoy the whole process of the writing. Just wondering if there's any point at which your motivation might flag?
You know, the toughest part's the planning, because you can get stuck there. At the other stages, actually writing, I've got a plan, so I know what I'm going to write. Editing, I've got something to edit. But when you've got the plan, that's the blank sheet of paper. And you think, oh, look, I've got a few ideas for a book, but I'm not sure that I can turn this into a full story. So that's actually the time when and also you're probably working on another project anyway, because this is the sort of thing you do in the background. So that's when you can literally lose the plot for a while.
Right. Do you engage with feedback, as in from Goodreads, or do you look at reviews? Do you respond to reviews?
Never. No writer ever looks at a review. No, stop. Of course you do. And what I would say to other writers out there, particularly first-time writers, is the first thing before you look at any Goodreads reviews of your book, you find your favourite book of all time, and you read the one-star reviews of that book, and then you know what you're going to face and how, not to trust, if you like, all of those reviews. I look at the first few to see how it's tracking. I read the reviews in the newspapers and so forth, but I don't read them as so much a statement about the quality or otherwise of the book. They're just more interesting pieces about the book that have been stimulated by the book, and these writers have come to that, stimulated by that, rather than saying, should I read this, should I not? That's more a Goodreads thing. I watch the overall rating on Goodreads because I know that that's going to affect whether people are doing the most important thing for marketing, which is word of mouth.
And I've noticed that Rosie Result is netting some pretty good stars.
Look, the Rosie Result is rating higher on Goodreads than the Rosie Project, and we've now got, I'm an old statistician, we've got enough reviews to make that really count. And look, that goes with my own view that the Rosie Result is actually a stronger book.
It's a fabulous book. You've done a lot of walking in your time. Do you think it's helped your writing?
Walking, helping my writing. The long distance walks that I've done with Anne, my partner, I look at some big life levels serve to centre me a bit, and it probably has helped my writing on the big scale. But on a smaller scale, I get a lot of my ideas walking. In fact, when I was writing the Rosie Result, the draft of it, I had a routine that every morning after I reviewed the previous day's writing, I would get up, look at what I had to, get up first before I reviewed the writing, but I would look at what I had to write for the day, and then I would deliberately go for about a 4 kilometre walk just to think about that. So it had a really direct input to the creativity, to the book itself.
So you're processing as you walk?
Absolutely, and that's creativity theory, that a lot of people have ideas while they're doing relatively mechanical tasks like walking or driving or taking a shower.
You've been very generous with your time, Graeme. Thank you. One more question. Last one. Can you name some of your favourite bookshops?
Can I name some of my favourite bookshops? Well, it'd be terrible if I forgot the name of yours, but it is Blarney. This is a terrible moment to go here. Cut this, I've forgotten where I am.
No.
I really, no, this is the sort of bookshop I really like, because it's got that sort of community sort of feel. You feel like you're part of something more than just a place to pick books off the shelf. I like bookshops where you feel that the books have been really curated. They might be quite small, but they've got a wonderful selection of books, and just everything you see in that shop is, even quite a small shop, is going to be really good. Okay, my favourite bookshop in the world is probably, Blarney Books obviously aside, is probably the King's English in Salt Lake City, Utah, where they just were huge fans, and still are, of the Rosie series. And I just remember one particular night, Anne and I going in, it was snowing like mad outside, there were snow drifts everywhere, and still they had fire going in the shop, still it was absolutely packed. This rabbit warren with different rooms had speakers in them, it was packed. And of course, you know, you're in Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints country, but there was plenty of booze going down. It was just one of those we sold about 300 books like that night. It was just an amazing sort of night, so it's always stuck in my mind.
I'm going to put that on my list. And Australian bookshop?
Yeah, you're looking for me to name them. I just worry because I'm going to miss really important bookshops. But yeah, the Readings chain, which it is now in Victoria, is hugely important. Also, the Avenue Bookshop, which has now got three bookshops there in Melbourne. There's the bookshop. It's got a similar feel to this that I really like in Castlemaine, Victoria, which is called...
Is that Stoneman's?
Stoneman's, thank you. Yep, okay. Stoneman's bookshop there. Avid Reader in Queensland is really terrific. There's a couple of little bookshops.
I was about to say, you're an inner city person.
Yeah. Leslie Mackay's bookshop, which is no longer called Leslie Mackay's bookshop in Sydney, along with Blues Point books. You know, really nice, small, well-curated bookshops. Whereas, of course, when you get out the country, you have a little bit more space around you. You have these great rambling bookshops, some of which sell second-hand books as well. And there's all the bookshops in Clunes and so on, which I reference in this.
Yes.
In this book. Yeah. Have I forgotten anything terribly important? I've probably forgotten heaps and heaps of really good bookshops.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but thank you. And thank you very much for this weekend.
Well, thank you. It was a delight to come down here, and I love doing this stuff. So there you go.
Thank you very much.